Hi everybody, my name is Jeffrey LeFrancois, the Executive Director of the Meatpacking District, and welcome to another episode of Meatpacking Unpacked. I am joined today by Matt Joslyn, the Executive Director of the Tectonic Theater Project, and they are producing an amazing piece of live theater on the streets of the Meatpacking District. Right?
Yes.
I mean,
yes,
it's an amazing thing.
Yes, it's amazing, it's bonkers, it's exhilarating, it's very New York.
And it's what the city needed.
Yes, absolutely.
What is the Tectonic Theater Project?
So Tectonic Theater Project is an experimental theater company that was founded in 1991.
7 Deadly Sins. Where did that concept come from and how did it land here?
So we have a sister theater company in Miami called Miami New Drama, right in South Beach, and their artistic director came up with this concept in the darkest time of the pandemic. Moises Kaufman, our artistic director and founder, was commissioned to write a play for that version. We loved it and we said we need a New York version of this. And we started to consider, if we're going to do it in New York, where should it live? So we made this list. And on the list, one neighborhood just kept rising to the top of everyone's list. And so I called my friend Jeffrey, and he did not say that we're crazy. So between the city and Meatpacking and our real estate partners and our commercial producing partners, it's been a dream.
What happens when the curtains open outside of the theater that you've created?
What's absolutely amazing to me is that people come down Gansevoort Street, there are these 3 gorgeous plays going on, and we knew that people would stop to take a look at it. What surprised us was people stay, they can't hear the plays.
Right, because everybody's listening on headphones.
And they watch the entire play. The minute audience sits, people pour, like it draws people down the street.
So you're activating the streetscape suddenly is driving foot traffic.
Completely.
And I mean, that's a big part of this for us, right? Is arts as economic development.
No question. Not only are we employing so many people in this production itself, but I think the way that the businesses have embraced us, the way that the neighborhood has embraced us as a whole, and what our audience is doing and the attention it's bringing to this. This is the best place in the city, come on.
It's a great little spot. So I bought a ticket and I'm going to see the theater and I arrived here on Gansevoort Street and what happens?
We check you in, so you're gonna get sorted into your group of blue, pink, or yellow. And you're gonna get headphones and then you're gonna sit in one of these gorgeous chairs and then the show is gonna start and the incomparable Sugar Cane is gonna come out of these doors and perform for this whole audience. And then we're gonna split you into 3 groups to go and see your 7 plays.
And collect and see your 7 sins. How long is each show?
Each show is 10 minutes.
And you're with that audience the whole show?
Yeah, you and 30 of your newest, closest friends will travel along all 7 of the sins together and experience that same order together.
And we're on Gansevoort Street, which has gluttony, pride, and sloth. Do you notice that as viewers, they experience the show differently depending on which show they start with?
All the plays are very, very different. Some are very funny, some are very tragic. And so if you end on one that's a little darker, a little heavier, you're gonna leave the show with a lot more weight than if you end on one that's very lighthearted and fun. So I think where you end colors more the experience than where you start.
So they've seen these first 3 shows on Gansevoort Street, and then you take them on a walk.
We do.
Where do they go next?
They get right up and they head on over to their last 4 sins that are gonna be just a block and a half down on 13th Street. And so along this route, we just continue on with some of the history of the Meatpacking District. A lot of these buildings were sex clubs in the 70s and 80s leading up to the AIDS crisis. And so people love to hear about sex and sex clubs.
When they're at 7 Deadly Sins.
Exactly.
Yes, of course. What are some of the best or good experiences that you've seen in terms of what's happened on the streets of Meatpacking while the show's going on?
I think just community engagement from just passerbys and some high profile passerbys. Just the other night we had Julianne Moore walk by and she was like, what is this? What's going on? And we were like, Queen, it's 7 Deadly Sins. And I think that's what really puts a smile on my face, just seeing people come out after a year and a half being stuck at home and getting to just experience something together with friends, with strangers, with the people who walk by on the street.
here we are on 13th Street. You brought people 2 blocks to get here. And what are the last shows they're gonna see on 13th Street?
So right here on 13th, they get to watch Envy, Wrath, Greed, and Lust.
The final 4.
The final 4.
Of the sins.
Some of the more fun sins, if you ask me. Here, the shows are very, very different in style, form, function. One of them is inside a shipping container in the middle of the street.
And of course, we're coming up on one of the shows that's garnered quite a bit of attention. This is Lust, right?
Absolutely.
With Cynthia Nixon doing the voiceover.
Yeah.
Folks are hearing the thoughts of a stripper as she is working.
Yeah.
And that is not something a lot of people think about.
And it's something, you know, we should think about. You know, sex work is work, and what a transformative experience to take you to the red light district of Amsterdam for a quick moment.
That's true, but also on the streets of the Meatpacking.
Exactly.
Here I am with Shamika Cotton, one of the stars of the show Sloth. At your set, here we are. Shall we take a seat and talk a little bit more?
Yes.
Okay. Not the view you're typically used to.
No.
Actually, right?
Right.
Because you're behind the glass. What's that like as an actress, putting on a live show behind glass?
It is very interesting because Hard by Thomas Bradshaw, it's a comedy. So when you think about a comedy where you're not like in touch with the audience, you know?
Because you can't hear us out here.
We can hear you sometimes. Like if there's like a raucous laughter and sometimes the audience will scream or whatever, we'll hear things. But for the most part, yeah, we're kind of like trying to get the vibe and trying to feel what's going on.
The show, Sloth,
Yeah.
based on Hard. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, it's about a couple who is having a hard time in their marriage. I play Sandra, and my husband is Jeff, played by Brandon Ellis. He is hilarious, multi-talented.
Both of you are extraordinarily talented in the show. I can say that for certain.
Oh my goodness. And he has an addiction to video games, porn, and food. And all those things have gotten in the way of our sexy time.
Which leads to my next question. Did you ever think in your career as an actress you'd be wearing a strap-on dildo in a window on Gansevoort Street for a piece of theater?
Well, actually, one time I went to a palm reader and they said, what's in your future is being on the corner with a dildo in front of hundreds of people. No, but no, and how fun.
What was it like to be back in the room with your fellow collaborators?
My main feeling is just the extreme feeling of gratitude, right? To be able to get back to work and to get together. But also as an actor, remembering what is it like to be in a rehearsal room?
Right.
Like, you know, for so long we had been doing all these Zoom performances, right? Acting from the waist up.
Here
It's
we
like,
are.
well, what do we do?
We are fully clothed today.
Exactly. I have on bottoms, okay, in my rehearsal. And so it's just like, well, what do we do with the rest of our body, right? So that was pretty fun and funny trying to figure that out. Yeah. But you know what? It's just like riding a bike. It just comes back to you.
And what is it like doing the show in the Meatpacking District for you?
First of all, this place is magical. So when I found out that I was going to be a part of this production, it felt very kismet, right?
Absolutely.
And so it was really great. And this is such a sexy place, right? Everybody that walks along these streets are so fashionable. They're like fashionistas. And so I think it's like the perfect place for 7 Deadly Sins to be because it's a sexy show, you know?
It definitely is. Well, thank you for taking the time to chat before you dive into character.
Thanks
Sandra,
for having me.
If I may, of course. What's next for you? What's next for Tectonic?
We're going to explore what is the journey for this piece. I can tell you a lot of cities are interested.
Really?
Yes. We're getting calls from universities and cities. We're getting calls from arts councils. We're getting calls from major theaters that want to partner on this. I mean, right now we're going to spend a few weeks recovering.
You're going to enjoy the rest of summer.
That's right. I'm going to have some summer. I haven't had some summer yet.
Summer.
Although
That's
I've had
true.
some Meatpacking summer, so that's
true.
a great thing.
Distinct.
Yes.
Well, we're thrilled to have you. And thank you for bringing this to the streets of Meatpacking.
We could not be more grateful to you and the bid and the district for you opened all these doors to us to help bring
Well,
Can't do it.
it's for the city.
I can't do it.
It's
Bring
for
our
the
industry
city.
back.
Yeah, it's been a time for everybody, and the city is not the city without the arts, especially the performing arts. So,
Thank you.
glad to have you here.